The best of the best high school seniors in both North and South Carolina clash on the field for regional supremacy and borderline bragging rights. However, the true winners are the patients of the Shriners Hospitals for Children. Strong legs run, so weak legs may walk, as we present the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas next. Welcome to Spartanburg, South Carolina. We're on the campus of Wofford College at Gibbs Stadium, where the All-Stars of South Carolina and North Carolina get ready to do battle on the field. Hi, everybody. I'm Fred Cunningham, along with Gene Knight. And Gene, we've got not only a battle between great talented players on both sides of the border, but also a great contrast in styles of football.
We sure do. Gary Fowler, the North Carolina coach, has come in here. He's a defensive guy. He's going to line up in the I formation. He's going to give you traditional offense. He's going to run isolation, off tackle, going to give you a little bit of option, and then he's going to try to throw it over the top. Ted Luckadoo from Westside High School in Anderson, South Carolina, he's an offensive guy. He's going to spread it out. He's going to give you a spread offense, and he's going to try to get the cutback all day long.
Well, for North Carolina, the guy who's going to be triggering things today, one of their quarterbacks is Brett Mooring out of West Craven High School.
Mooring threw for nearly 4,000 yards this year, and he is the complete package as a great pro-type quarterback. He can hand it off, and then he'll throw it over the top. And he's got a good one to throw it over the top, too.
When he goes upstairs, he'll be looking for Jay Boyd, the 6'2 wide receiver out of Ashbrook.
And Jay Boyd is the real deal. He will go and get the football.
Absolutely. As far as South Carolina goes, Stephon Gilmore, he's going to be the trigger man, a South Point High School football star, Mr. Football in South Carolina.
I saw Stephon since he was a 9th grader in Rock Hill. He is the real deal. He is Mr. Football. He can beat you from anywhere on the field. He can beat you throwing it. He can beat you running.
And at receiver, Allison Jeffrey from Calhoun County. No one in practice has been able to cover this guy this week.
He is something else. Going to the University of Southern California, Allison Jeffrey, they've thrown it to him all week long. Nobody can cover him.
We have much more going on besides just football on the field. There's going to be just tremendous pageantry and so much importance here for this game today. We're back with the kickoff in just a moment. The 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. The 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas is brought to you by Bilo and Spartanburg Regional Sports Medicine. We are underway in Spartanburg, South Carolina, with a North Carolina kickoff that sails well into the end zone off the foot of Matt Millisore. So South Carolina will have the ball for the first time, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
That's a great defensive weapon when you can kick the ball into the end zone and force the offense to start at the 20-yard line, especially like we were talking about in a all-star game where you have a lot of guys who don't play on special teams.
There is Stephon Gilmore, as we mentioned, Mr. Football in South Carolina, led South Point to a 4A state championship just recently, and now he will be the starting quarterback for the South Carolina team today, looking at 1st down and 10 again from his own 20-yard line. As you can see, South Carolina is in the spread offense. Taking his time before the snap. There it is. They hand the football off, and actually a loose football right there, right off the snap, and North Carolina, just like that, has recovered the football. So an exchange problem right there between Stephon Gilmore and the starting running back, Justin Brewington, the defensive end for North Carolina, comes up with a turnover. And look at where the All-Stars start their first time, at the 19-yard line of South Carolina.
Running that zone read option, just a bad mesh point between two guys who don't play together, and in 3 or 4 days you can't always put it together. Big turnovers are always big in all-star games as well.
So here's your starting quarterback now for North Carolina coming out. This Desmond Lowry, the starting quarterback. An interesting story there. He just joined the team earlier this week. On 1st down, he looks to throw to the end zone. They'll try to cash it in right away, but it's too long. It falls incomplete. Everett Proctor was originally named to this team, but he had to drop out of the game on Monday. He had a hamstring injury that was back during the season, back actually during the state championship game, so they had to make the substitution. Across up front, as you take a look at your starting lineups presented by McDonald's, Owens, Barnes, some of the offensive linemen. Fogg is the starting running back out of Apex High School. He is outstanding. And your starting quarterback is Desmond Lowry, who again just joined the team on Monday after the injury to Proctor. 2nd down and 10. And there's that option right there, diving inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line goes Lowry, who was a very effective quarterback. He's known the triple option all 3 years during his high school career.
Yeah, Desmond Lowry, I saw him the first game of the season when he played against
As we take a look at the South Carolina starters, again presented by McDonald's, Anderson, Johnson, and Goodman. Goodman is just a load up front. The linebackers, Sam Montgomery out of Greenwood High School, a very highly touted player. And the secondary has a couple of outstanding safeties, Bright and Canty from Burns and Dorman High Schools. 3rd down coming up, 3rd down and 6 for North Carolina. They're trying to get the ball to about the 9. As you can see, keeping it on the option that time was Lowry. He's going to come up well short, and that will bring up 4th down. 4th down and about 3 yards to go, and it looks like North Carolina is going to try a field goal.
James Avery, number 44 from South Carolina's All-Stars, West Florence High School, making the tackle that time. He just read Lowry the whole way down on the option.
So Matt Millisor will be attempting the field goal here. They're going to spot the football at the 19-yard line, a 29-yarder. He's 8 for 11 on the season. He's kicked 2 field goals of 45 yards. His kick is up, and the kick is good. So North Carolina takes advantage of the South Carolina fumble on their first play of scrimmage to put it on the board. 3-0 North Carolina, 12:41 to go. Back with more from Spartanburg in a moment.
I'm here at the Bilo recruiting stage with quarterback Stephon Gilmore. Stephon, this is all-star season for you. How does it feel to be playing in today's Shrine Bowl and then in next game at Under Armour?
It feels good. It's an honor to play in this game, and I'm going to try to give 100% every play.
Stephon, where have you chosen to play?
I'm going to play for the University of South Carolina.
The University of South Carolina. Do you have a message for USC fans today?
I'm ready to come in and compete January. I'm graduating early, and I'm ready to come in.
North Carolina cashing in a South Carolina fumble to take a 3-0 lead on a Matt Millisor field goal, and he's ready to kick off the football again. He opened this game by booting it into the end zone. Kicking off from the 35-yard line in this game. This one will also go into the end zone. Automatic touchback. So once again, a very good weapon for North Carolina is that kicker as they keep South Carolina back at their own 20-yard line to start this series. DeMazio Skelton, there he was, coming off the field after fielding that kickoff in the end zone.
Again, great offensive weapon, or defensive weapon rather. When you can kick it in the end zone, puts the offense on the 20-yard line, and when you fumble it like South Carolina did to open the game and put points on the board, big thing. The other South Point quarterback going to go to work now.
That's right. Both of the quarterbacks we've seen so far from schools named South Point, although Stephon Gilmore is spelled with an E on the end. Gilmore throwing outside, incomplete. He was looking for Jeffrey on the corner right there. And let's take a look at the South Carolina offense. Up front, they've got JKJ. He is a commitment to Clemson University out of Greenville, South Carolina. Denzel Good is also heading to North Carolina State. King is the running back. Swinger, Jeffrey, Neely, and Thomas are those 4 wide receivers. And again, Stephon Gilmore, who in his career rushed for 45 touchdowns and threw for 31. 2nd down and 10. Keeping it on the option, we'll pitch it this time up to the 20 to about the 22-yard line. On that carry goes Alexander Green, who is out of Richmond Northeast High School in Columbia. North Carolina's starting defense, as that was a pickup of about 3 yards, presented by McDonald's. Brewington, Brooks, and McAdoo up front. McAdoo is a North Carolina commitment. Dante Moss, probably the outstanding prospect in the state of North Carolina, also planning on being a Tar Heel. And in the secondary, Quan Rucker, he's going to be headed to Wake Forest. As you take a look at Schenkel, Hunter, and Smith, they are the starters. 3rd down and 7 now for South Carolina. Gilmore, who is 0 for 1 in the passing department so far today, rolls. Now he's in some trouble, and he's going to go down for a big loss. Big sack right there by that North Carolina defense. You can see they're just giving the congratulations there to Hawatha Bell, the linebacker out of David W. Butler High School in Matthews. And it's not a good start for that South Carolina offense, a loss of 9 on that sack.
You can see on the replay here, looks like there was a miss again in the mesh point, and Gilmore's going to get outside, and all he finds is white and green jerseys. They just had a meeting right at the Gilmore house there, knocked him for a big loss.
So getting ready to kick the football now is Grant Clayton out of AC Flora High School in Columbia. Back deep is Terry Schenkel for North Carolina, and the ball's going to be fielded, and once again, good field position for North Carolina. They took over the football for the second time, and both series will start in South Carolina territory, this time at the 45. 32 yards on that punt by Grant Clayton.
Talked to Clayton during the week. He's going to the Air Force Academy. He's a patriotic young man.
Good look right there at Ted Luckadoo, the head coach of South Carolina. 25 seasons at Westside High School in Anderson, 210 victories. He was a Shrine Bowl assistant back in 1997. First down pass is complete, wrestled out of bounds at about the 39-yard line on that connection. Corey Gaddis hauling in the pass. As once again, there is Ted Luckadoo, who also was the head coach of the North team back in 1992 when the North played the South in the All-Star game that's also played in South Carolina. And he's pretty good at the All-Star games. A winner as a head coach and a winner as assistant coach. He tries to make it 3-0 today. There's a good look at Brett Mooring. We mentioned him at the top of our broadcast. He had that completion on first down. Now he's looking at second down and 4, going with 4 wide receivers. They will keep it on the ground. That's Larry Raper, and Raper finds no running room at all. Gets stood up at about the 40-yard line and then gets pushed back there. Young man out of Shelby, North Carolina.
Taja Green from Northwestern High School in Rock Hill on the tackle that time. He was a late addition to this team. Here you can see on the replay, just a zone read on the inside, and Raper, nothing but red and white jerseys.
Got some help on that play from Leon Smith out of James Island High School in Charleston. So make that a loss of 1. Third down now and 5 right at the 40-yard line. I formation this time is the look for North Carolina. Mooring sets up, has some time, still looking to throw. Now we'll throw it over the middle, and it's going to be tipped and caught and intercepted inside the 20-yard line. DJ Swearinger out of Greenwood High School, a young man heading to the University of South Carolina. He hauls it in, and our second turnover of the game, the first grabbed by South Carolina.
Play action fake. Mooring was looking to the backside. He was looking for the tight end, Travis Bond, or not Bond, yeah. Not Travis Bond, sorry, number 80. He's looking, watch him on the replay. He looks all the way to the backside, he's not open now, tries to force it in, and Swearinger just plays it all the way, just playing center fielder, makes the interception.
He was looking for Wesley Carter, the tight end, but there is Swearinger who came up with that interception. Another look at it, and just great hands right there.
Tip drill, practice it every day in practice.
So Swearinger hauls it in there, and while we were taking a look at that play, South Carolina ran the football for a gain of 1 on first down. Roderick McDowell made the run right there, but as you can see, we've also got a penalty marker down on the play. It's our first of the ball game.
There's a flag on the play.
As you can see, the penalty flag is going to go against North Carolina, so after a loss of 1,
too many men, I believe, on the field. Legal participation.
Good look right there at Gary Fowler out of Clayton. 193 victories in 23 seasons. Could not pick up the exact call there, but as you can see, it's going to go against North Carolina. So it's going to be a big walk-off all the way up to the 33-yard line. So first down, illegal substitution. There is Gary Fowler. He was a Shrine Bowl assistant for North Carolina back in 1995 when South Carolina won that game by a final of 30-10. First down and 10 for South Carolina now. Not a whole lot of running room there at all. Ricarius King, the running back out of Timberland, tried to go to his left and just got swallowed up by that North Carolina defense. It's off to a great start already. Joaquin Smith out of Lenore, one of the guys in on the tackles.
Coach Luckadoo was really high on Ricarius King, said he really runs the ball well behind this big offensive line from South Carolina. Said he gets back there, nobody can find him, but North Carolina did a good job of finding him that time.
Ricarius 5'7", 190 out of Timberland. As you take a look at Stephon Gilmore. It was a loss of 3, so second down, 13. And we got penalty markers right at the start of that play.
Head ball foul, false start, gets the offense, 5 yards.
So back up South Carolina now another 5 yards. We're going to be looking at second down and 18. Ted Luckadoo, who has competed for a state championship, made it to a state title game a number of years ago as he coached the Rams. And
you know, like we talked about it, he wants, he's an offensive guy. He wants to bend it, bang it, blast it.
Gilmore now working out of the shotgun, hands it off, and just not much running room there at all once again for McDowell, who just gets stopped right there by that North Carolina defense at about the 25-yard line. No gain on that play, so it's going to be third down and 18. South Carolina needs to get to the 43-yard line to get the first down. As you take a look right there at Spencer Shuey, the linebacker out of South Mecklenburg High School in Charlotte. So what's a good play in an all-star game on third down and 18?
Throw it deep to Jeffrey on the left side is what I would do.
He could be a...
He's got one-on-one coverage over there, you can see.
Gilmore with a deep drop, sets up the screen, and it's complete. And what an impact right there. Big hit laid out there by Dante Moss. Moss just crushed McDowell, and that might happen again someday because you've got a North Carolina commitment against a Clemson commitment.
Yeah, these two gentlemen will see each other, I'm sure. And here you can see on the replay, Gilmore, like you said, this is just a backside screen, and wow, welcome to Spartanburg, says Dante Moss.
Dante Moss is just an absolute load as you take a look at him right there. Stays in on that special teams. You're talking about a guy who had 27 sacks this year. 27 sacks.
Tremendous.
Punt is away. Fair catch taken for. We got a collision right there. Football is loose. I don't see a penalty marker down yet. But then that was just right at the point. You could see Terry Schenkel called, or at least he was ready to receive the ball, and just that huge hit came in there. That's Alex Robinson, who laid in the hit. And just like that, well, they go from perhaps fielding the football past the 40. It's now going to be marked all the way back at about the 31-yard line. Big hitting in this game.
There it is. You can see it. Quan Rucker just coughs it up. And Schenkel able to recover it.
Trying to pick up if he was actually calling for a fair catch there. He just got his clock clean. First down and 10. Left side, pretty good yardage. Up across the 40, out of bounds at about the 42-yard line on that play goes Kevin Fogg. That's his first carry of the ball game. And of course, he's an outstanding player as well for this North Carolina team. They're going to try to just really hang on to the football and keep that South Carolina offense off the field.
Just like we talked about, traditional I formation. They're just kind of going to run the isolation, going to run off tackle, give you a little play action. And with Lowry in there, Lowry's a third running back.
There's a good look right there at Kevin Fogg, 5'10", 171 out of Apex High School. Now from the I formation. They're going to hand it off to the right side, up to the fullback to about the 45-yard line. A gain of maybe 2 yards on that play. Justin Bright came in to help make the stop. Young man out of Burns High School. He's headed to Florida State. He didn't have too long of a drive this week over from Duncan just to make it over to Spartanburg. As you can see, leaving the field right there, Delmonte Terry, the fullback who made that carry.
On Monday and Tuesday at practice, a lot of the players were going around and said, "Did you see this bright guy?" And they said, yeah, we've seen him. He said, "Well, I thought he was the kicker." Justin's not a very big individual, but he will hit you.
Gain of 3 yards on that play. Second down, they're going to go with the fullback again, and this time they're going to hand it off and get maybe 2 yards on that play. Tyler Shatley, the fullback, makes the carry there. Shatley, 6'4", 265 out of East Burke High School in Connolly Springs. The young man who's going to be headed to Clemson.
Justin Anderson from Blythewood also in on that one for the South Carolina All-Stars.
Football now marked at the North Carolina 48-yard line. Third down and about 5 yards to go. North Carolina will go with just one back this time. 2 wide receivers to each side of the field. Lowry escaped one hit, but will not escape this one. Stopped at about the 41-yard line, so a big loss there as just South Carolina's defense blew up that play.
Pete Roseborough coming off the corner. Pete out of South Point High School in Rock Hill came off the corner, and he's the one who hit him.
6-yard loss right there. So North Carolina will punt it away for the first time. Matt Millisor will be kicking it.
Canty is deep, I believe.
Walt Canty out of Dorman High School waits for this punt at about the 15-yard line. Fields it right at the 15. Makes a move to the 20. Now he's outside 25, 30. Pretty good return up to about the 34-yard line, and that's where South Carolina will go back on offense. We've also got a penalty marker that's back at the 42-yard line of North Carolina.
You can see there was probably a clip on this or an illegal block. I think it was the first block he picked up as he tried to get to the wall. They had the wall set up on the other side of the field there.
South Carolina will decline that penalty, so they'll have a first down, 43-yard kick, but an outstanding return by Walt Canty up to the 34-yard line. 4:13 left in the opening quarter. North Carolina leads South Carolina 3-0 in the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. You're watching the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. Due to time restraints, we move on to further action. North Carolina leading South Carolina 3-0, just under 4 minutes left in the opening quarter. And South Carolina has the football again. Starting this drive, first down and 10, now at their own 29-yard line. And they're going to change at quarterback. Donnie McKelveen about to take his first snap. Hands the football off, up across the 35, first down and more. Breaking into North Carolina territory all the way to the 41-yard line goes Alexander Green. His second carry of the ball game, and that was an outstanding one. A huge gain into North Carolina territory. The young man out of Columbia's Richland Northeast High School.
You can see it's just a power play over the right side. You got JKJ over there, who the Clemson fans are going to love. He's leading him down the field. You can see number 70 right there. And then Green just dragging people as he gets across midfield. Nice
people.
Run.
Oh, I know. Dragging people at 5'8", 180, 29 yards on that gain. So South Carolina in North Carolina territory for the first time. And keeping it on the ground. And this time it's Green going up the middle and just no running room there at all this time. As North Carolina covers that one very, very quickly. Justin Jackson, the linebacker out of Richmond Senior High School in Rockingham, made the stop, I should say, and a loss of about 2.
Nice look at Justin Jackson. He's going to play his college ball at Wake Forest.
Wake Forest has a number of commitments on this North Carolina team. Although if you're a North Carolina Tar Heel fan, it looks like about maybe half of the defense is all committed to play for the Tar Heels.
Not bad to be a Pirate today either, I don't think. East Carolina picked up a lot.
They've got some guys who can fly, absolutely. Second down and about 12 to go. McElveen looking to throw, sets up, has a man deep. Can they make the connection? Just a little too tall there. He was looking for Jeffrey. Jeffrey was open. He had beaten this man, but that one was just a little out of his grasp. So that's going to bring up 3rd down and 12, but this is the guy they want to go to. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast was that the defensive back said all week, we just can't cover this guy.
I hadn't seen anybody do it all week. I watched him a number of times, and like I said, McElveen, he just loved throwing back to the left to him. He wouldn't even look to the right hardly. He'd just scan him off and go back there. You know, one thing about McElveen's grandfather that we ought to mention to folks is John McKissick is the winningest football coach in the history of the game of football. He has won more games than anybody at any level.
So on 3rd down and about 12, McElveen, as they're going to have run the reverse right here. This is Jeffrey up to about the 31-yard line on that reverse. Actually, check that. That's actually Justin Trapp, who's a quarterback out of Fairfield Central in Winsboro. He got a pretty good gain, and 1st down, South Carolina. Let's bring in the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Here's Joni Lockridge.
Thanks, Fred. If you look out and see all the high school players wearing their home helmets. Traditionally, you'd see green helmets and red helmets matching the North and South Carolina teams' uniforms. However, this year they decided that for the fans and for the coaches, they need to be able to see who the players are. And the home colors let the players display both their team pride and their name. Back to you, Fred.
As you can see, Alexander Green, who's already had a couple of big runs in this game, gets inside the 25, out of bounds at about the 22. They wore those solid helmets for a long time, and just a lot of the players and fans said we can't really tell who our son or our athlete is because, you know, they're not always wearing their traditional number.
It's nice. It's really nice to see them come back with that. It's a pleasant change, I guess, to a game that is pretty perfect. So it does help out the coaches too at practice. They can find the guys as well.
There's Ted Luckadoo, who's probably really enjoying what he's been seeing out of Alexander Green so far. He's really sparked this South Carolina offense, which is now looking at 2nd down and 3 as we're inside 2 minutes in the opening quarter. Green again. Gets to about the 20-yard line that time. That should be good enough to get the 1st down.
Good push in there by the up front guys for South Carolina. We talked about the size of this offensive line. One of those young men up there on the offensive line is number 62, Jared Singleton. And he's quite the card. I talked to some of the players, and they said, hey, you know, he's a character. And he cuts up and carries on. They had a good time with him.
Saw Mikhail Brooks there, one of the defensive linemen for North Carolina. He was added to the roster to replace Xavier Nixon. 1st down and 10 now, South Carolina. McElveen sets up. Now he's in trouble running and trying to get rid of the football. He does throw the football. It's going to be ruled incomplete. There comes that penalty marker down late, so they're going to call grounding, it would appear. But laying in the heat right there for North Carolina, big number 81, Jared McAdoo, a defensive lineman out of Chapel Hill.
Intentional grounding is going to be the call. There it is.
Don't know if the official was thinking about it or it took him an extra second to find his penalty flag. It looked fairly obvious here. You can see him just running for his life.
Just didn't quite get out of the tackles in that tackle box.
McElveen is going to get whistled for that. As you can see, loss of down, but it's going to be a mark-off all the way back to the 42-yard line. So that's just a huge loss right there, and you can see the frustration by Ted Luckadoo, who I think is trying to make the case that I think he was outside that tackle box, maybe by about a foot, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes they reach a little late, and that has a lot to do with how sometimes games are changed.
It's going to be a loss of 22 yards. 21 yards make it. So it's 2nd down and 31. McElveen, quick throw, has Jeffrey inside the 40 to about the 36-yard line on that connection. Actually, check that. That's actually an Kinsman Thomas out of Marlboro County in Bennettsville. 6'2", 205. He makes his first grab of the football game. So that gets at least some of that yardage back as we're inside the final minute of the opening quarter.
Thomas with over 1,000 yards this year receiving, has 13 touchdowns. Big part of that Bulldog offense.
Good look right there at Gary Fowler.
He's an animated guy. He's a handful.
Third down coming up. As you can see, South Carolina has converted one so far, but they're looking at third down and 27 this time. Throw, catch, and a collision inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line. Jameer Valentine hauled it in there and was just brought down immediately, but that's going to bring up fourth down, and still fourth down and well over 10. Fourth down, it looks like it'd be about 17 yards or so. Football spotted at the 27-yard line as we come to the end of the opening quarter. North Carolina, they were able to cash in a South Carolina turnover on the game's first play from scrimmage and kick the field goal. 3-0 in favor of North Carolina in the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. Fred Cunningham, Gene Knight, Joni Lockridge back with you in Spartanburg, South Carolina. We're at Wofford College, where North Carolina leads South Carolina 3-0 in the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. There is Ted Luckadoo, who's going to try to even up this football game with a field goal try. Fourth down and about 17 yards to go, marking the football at about the spot's going to be at the 33-yard line, so we got a 43-yard attempt coming from Grant Clayton. Clayton 10 for 15 on the season. He's got the length normally, but this kick, it wasn't real pretty, kind of a low line drive, but it goes through, so South Carolina matches that North Carolina field goal. The game is now tied 3-3. His longest of the season, 53 yards. He's got 5 field goals of better than 45 yards. That one was a couple of yards short of that.
Yeah, I talked to him earlier in the week, and you know, the kickers are the loneliest guys during the week because they go down with each other on a separate field practice, and they pretty much get to know each other very, very well.
Take a look at the first quarter statistics, and as you can see, the rushing yards pretty good for South Carolina. They got 29 of those yards on one carry by Alexander Green.
On the first downs, you can see, I mean, passing yardage, obviously, and first downs are the two keys right there for North Carolina. 4 first downs. Holding on time of possession, too.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah, we talked about time of possession, but actually, really, South Carolina had the football primarily in that opening quarter. As you can see, once again, Grant Clayton ready to kick off now. So there is Clayton after tying this ball game 3-3. Got about 60 degrees today. Overcast skies, may have a chance of rain. Hopefully that'll hold off until we get this one in. Long kick right here, well into the end zone. That's going to be a touchback. So I'll tell you what, I'm impressed by both kickers now. They've showed a lot of leg. Keep in mind, we're kicking off from the 35 in this game, so they have shown a lot of leg. And so North Carolina, for Gary Fowler, will have the football once again at their own 20.
He's going to have Mooring at quarterback as well. So he's going to go back to his pro style look.
Lowry started the football game, but Mooring has been in on the last couple of possessions. I formation this time. They're going to keep it on the ground. Larry Raper goes across the 25. He's up close to that first down marker, a couple yards short, a gain of about 8 yards. Larry Raper, nearly 2,600 yards in his career at Shelby High School, scored 46 total touchdowns, and he had over 1,000 yards this year.
Nice tackle that time by Joshua Roseboro, linebacker out of Fairfield Central. But not before Raper picked up big yards.
Second down, a little under 2 yards to go. Again, they show that I formation. Raper will go to the right side. He'll get just enough for that first down, pushes it across the 30 up to about the 31-yard line before he's stopped on the play.
Nice tackle by number 48, Alexander Robinson. Robinson, a linebacker out of Saluda High in Saluda, South Carolina. Saluda, one of the smaller classifications of programs for South Carolina. And, you know, you don't see a whole lot of players from the lower classifications.
Matter of fact, Robinson is the first Saluda player to make the Shrine Bowl in 34 years. So he makes an impact right there. From the 31-yard line, Mooring under center. Rolls to his right, looking to throw, has it in the air. It's intercepted inside the 40, inside the 30, down to about the 27-yard line. Michael Frazier out of Conway makes the interception.
Once again, Mooring was looking for that tight end. He had double coverage. You can see here on the replay, just roll, see number 80. That's who he's looking for. Throws it back across the middle, and Frazier says, hey, look what I found. Going the other way.
He makes a great adjustment on this throw.
He does. Just gets right there.
He takes the football all the way back to the 26-yard line. There's a good look at Frazier. He takes a seat and gets the congratulations. 6'2", 205, and the second interception now thrown by North Carolina in this game. And again, South Carolina going to work from the 26-yard line. Gilmore keeps the football on first down. Goes inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line. Actually, that was McDowell on the carry, so it'll bring up second down.
They kind of faked the speed sweep that time, trying to take advantage of number 2 Justin Trapp's speed as Gilmore put it in his belly and then tried to run it right back up the middle. North Carolina sniffing it out very, very quickly.
3-3 ball game, pickup of 2, second down and 8 coming up. Good look right there at Spencer Shuey, the linebacker.
One of the captains for the North Carolina team as well.
Again, that spread offense look by South Carolina. Gilmore will throw it, has a man, it's complete inside the 25 down to about the 21-yard line. Justin Trapp hauls it in right there. Justin Trapp named to this team as a quarterback. We may see him at some point, but he's now had his hand in a couple of plays.
Trapp he's a dangerous guy. Number 10, Shankle, was out there to slow him down a little bit, and then number 24 for North Carolina finished him off.
Brandon Greer out of West Charlotte High School. Third down conversions, as you can see, South Carolina is 1 for 4. They're looking at third down and 5. 4 receivers, 2 to either side. Gilmore over the middle, has a man, but it pops out of his hands, incomplete. Trying to get the football, who was open, Kinsman Thomas, who had a catch a little bit earlier, but that one just hit him right in the hands and bounced away, and it'll be fourth down, and it looks like it's going to be another field goal try for South Carolina.
Trying to lull him to sleep with the option and catch him off the corner on the play action fake. Gilmore did a great job of showing the fake. Pass just escaped it. Go ahead.
Clayton's going to try a 38-yarder this time. He connected just a little while ago. A little bit longer, about 43 yards on that first one. Oop. Bad snap. Clayton picks up the football. Now the football is loose, and it's picked up by North Carolina. Running for the end zone, Terry Shankle, and Shankle takes it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, North Carolina. What a disastrous turn of offense there for South Carolina, trying to take the lead, and just like that, they fall behind.
Poor Grant, Grant Clayton, he just couldn't find the ball. You can see on the replay, it goes down, and then he tries to pick it up or do something with it. It looks like he tried to flip it around. Shankle says, oh, look what I found, and I'm off to the races. Nobody's going to catch me.
He's out of South Stanley in Norwood, North Carolina. 72 yards on that return for the touchdown, and it's now 9-3 North Carolina, and Millisore will try to make it a 10-3 lead. And they've got a bad snap. The football is loose, and that time they're able to cover it, or finally South Carolina falls on it, but we've had back-to-back interesting snap and hold situations. The bad news for South Carolina, theirs was very costly. It gave up a touchdown. 11:30 left before halftime. South Carolina falls behind North Carolina. It's 9-3. You're watching the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. You're watching the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. Due to time restraints, we move on to further action. Third down and 22 for South Carolina. 9-3 in favor of North Carolina. Just under 9 minutes to go before halftime. Gilmore straight drop, swings the ball outside, has a man, it's complete 35. It's going to be well short of the first down. Just a long way to go there. He is able to make the connection there to Jameer Valentine, but again, fourth down and a long way to go, so Grant Clayton will come on to kick it away.
Once again, number 9 for North Carolina, Dante Moss, right on top of it. It's a nice call, get a little bubble screen on the outside, and again, like you said, try to get some people in space, but North Carolina's defense just doing a great job of shutting everything down.
Juan Rucker and Terry Schenkel wait for the football inside the North Carolina 30. Kick is away. It's going to be fielded by Schenkel at about the 26-yard line, and that's where North Carolina will go back on offense. Schenkel, of course, scored the touchdown a little bit earlier as he was able to pick up a bad snap on a South Carolina field goal attempt and go 59 yards for the touchdown, and that's why we have a 9-3 ball game.
Nice punt that time by Clayton. Able to get the ball up and turn over. Of course, force the fair catch. That's exactly what you want to do.
37 yards on that kick. He averaged 41 for the season. And North Carolina's gone back to Lowry at quarterback. Desmond Lowry out of South Point in Belmont. And on first down, they're going to go to the left side, and pretty good yardage up there. Diving up to about the 35-yard line goes the fullback Del Monte Terry out of Scotland High School. So again, they bring Lowry back, and they really think they can run a lot of option with him. And one of the things they need to do right now, if they want to kind of stick to that game plan, is South Carolina's had the football, it seems like, the entire first half.
Yes, they're just with Lowry in there. He's that third running back, and South Carolina's linebackers have got to respect Lowry. They know that he can make a fake or he can make a read, and he can be down the field 40, 50 yards in just an eye flash.
Terry picked up 8 on that play. Second down, they go up the middle with the other fullback. Tyler Shatley is able to get that first down and more as he gets the football up to about the 40-yard line. So back-to-back runs by the fullback. You don't say that too often in football anymore. The fullback is just becoming that forgotten figure.
Again, Justin Bright, the safety, making the tackle. And when you hear things like safeties and corners making tackles, that's not good for the guys up front on defense.
Justin Bright, as we mentioned, out of Burns High School. Just won another state championship here. There's a good look at Desmond Lowry. Scored 17 rushing touchdowns on the season. He's going to keep the football this time, takes it forward, kind of classic option right there across the 40, gain of about 3 yards, and they'll take that. 3 yards, 4 yards. It's got to be a little bit frustrating as you take a look at Sam Montgomery to come into an all-star situation and suddenly have to take over and play assignment football.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Bob Hayes, the defensive coordinator from South Carolina, said to me on Tuesday. He was having a little meeting as Lowry had come in, and he said, hey, now we got to play assignment football. We got a whole different ball of wax with this young man coming into the picture.
They think that might be an advantage. You mentioned it earlier about the fact that South Carolina has become such a spread state. The option's almost a foreign object in this kind of a football game.
Don't see it.
They keep the football on the ground. That's Larry Raper up to the 45, up to about the 47-yard line. So North Carolina this is perhaps one of their more interesting drives so far. They're kind of getting into the kind of game that Gary Fowler was talking about running all week.
Exactly. Just ball control, 4 or 5 yards at a clip. Keep the defense out there, wear them down a bit, and then break a big play. Watch for something over the top here that we haven't seen. We haven't seen Mr. Boyd, Jay Boyd, in the game yet.
That's Justin Anderson right there. He's out of Blythewood. Blythewood has been playing varsity football for 3 years. They've had 3 Shrine Bowlers so far. Lowry will take the direct snap, gets up the middle. He's got plenty of room. Can he be caught? Justin Bright has the last chance at him. He will not catch him. Just tripped him up, but not before Lowry gets to the end zone. 54 yards on the touchdown, and North Carolina stretches that lead out.
Like I said, in a flash, this young man can put points on the board. He just showed you there how he can do it.
Desmond Lowry just made a terrific run.
Here you can see on the replay, it's a run all the way. Just a straight quarterback draw from the spread formation, and he just beats everybody straight down the middle of the football field. Bright gets his finger right at the last minute.
Could not catch him. So Lowry takes it to the end zone to make it 15-3. Millisore was going to try the extra point, but now a timeout's being taken by North Carolina. They missed their extra point a little bit earlier. Are they thinking about going for 2 here?
It's a possibility. Coach Fowler, he's out in the middle of the field and looking back and screaming for offensive players. I think that's what he definitely wants to do, try to get 2 points here.
Take another look at the touchdown run. And again, Lowry played the triple option throughout high school, so picking up the offense this week wasn't that difficult.
The only change was in high school, he ran it out of a double wing T. He had wing backs. instead of a straight I formation. But like you say, I mean, it's the same reads, it's the same guys you read, it's a veer option, same people you read. But that was just a straight quarterback draw. They saw something on the defensive side that South Carolina was doing and took advantage of it.
So Desmond Lowry with that touchdown run, and now the extra point attempt is coming up by Matt Millisore. Although we have another whistle down there. This might be the most convoluted extra point I've seen in a while.
It's an all-star game.
That's true. That's true. Extra point kick is up, and it is good. 16-3. North Carolina has opened a double-figure lead. We've got 5:26 to go before halftime. (16-3). North Carolina has opened up a lead. Matt Millisore ready to kick off again, as a couple of big plays have opened this game up. Great run you saw a moment ago by Lowry, and that came up following a special teams touchdown off a bad snap by South Carolina on a field goal attempt. Short kick, fair catch called for inside the 30-yard line at about the 29, so that's where South Carolina will go back on offense. Take a look at some of the cheerleaders that are here enjoying a nice week in Spartanburg. It started out a little bit cold, not really pretty, and then suddenly got relatively warm. We had a couple of days in the 70s. Today we're looking at about 65 degrees. Maybe a chance of rain.
Good old Carolina weather. You just wait 24 hours, it'll change. You know,
Absolutely.
You're not satisfied with what you're getting.
So we're going to have a change at quarterback. McKelveen is back in for South Carolina. He led a pretty good drive earlier in the ball game. Young man out of Somerville High School. Looks to throw, has a man complete, 30, 35, and up to about the 38-yard line on that connection with Justin Trapp.
And just a little swing pass to the outside. Try to get something on the corners for South Carolina. Good shot of Trapp and a good shot of Donnie McElveen, giving him a pat on the back.
That's Trapp's second catch of the game, as you see McElveen.
McElveen only had 6 touchdown passes this year, of course, with the graduation of A.J. Green, who became a national name as his freshman year at University of Georgia. Somerville, I guess, had to go back to a little running offense this year.
Passed for about 1,300 yards. He himself ran for 330. He's going to hand it off this time to Green, and Green's up the middle, up to about the 40-yard line. He's been the most productive of the South Carolina backs so far, as he's going to be getting close to 50 yards in the opening half. That's good enough, that run, to get that first down for South Carolina.
And again, on the statistical side, not the kind of day that Coach Ted Luckadoo, you can see from Westside High School in Anderson, would really like to see his offense produce here in the first half. Too many turnovers and, again, too much one step forward, 2 steps back.
So McElveen leading the offense to 1 first down already. And they're going to have Green stay in the football game. Alshon Jeffrey is lined up at the bottom of your screen, one of the 4 receivers. McElveen straight drop, will throw long. He's got Green inside the 40, inside the 35, tripped up at about the 34-yard line.
They just go ahead.
Boy, Alexander Green, he's just making quite an impression, isn't he?
He sure is. He's a good little football player. And what they did was they took Jeffrey, like you were talking about. He had one-on-one coverage, ran him off through the middle, and then had Green just come in a little wheel route. Here he comes. Watch him on the little wheel route out of the backfield immediately. And McElveen, nice touch on the ball, gets it right to him where he needs to make it and get some space. 26
yards on that pickup. Brandon Greer tripped him up from behind to bring him down, but not before Green takes South Carolina into North Carolina territory. From the 34-yard line, McElveen has a man, it's complete. Fighting inside the 30, up near the first down marker. Excellent effort there by 84 Jarrett Neely, who looked like he was going to be thrown for a loss perhaps, and he actually turns that into a pretty good gain.
Just a little swing pass on the corner. Again, Coach Luckadoo's putting a little pressure on North Carolina's corners out there. You can see it here from the end zone. Nice shot here by the crew. Gets it to the outside, and Neely makes a good catch. over his shoulder. One thing Coach Crocker told me of J.L. Mann, the offensive coordinator for South Carolina, he said, our backs have some of the best hands that I've ever been around young men in high school football.
There's a pickup of 8 yards. Joshua Hunter pushing him out of bounds. On the ground again, that's Green, and Green runs into a wall right there. He's going to probably lose a yard on that play.
Terrific job by the
North Dixon.
Yeah, North Carolina defense just shut it down on the inside.
Looks like it's going to actually be a loss back to about the 36-yard line. So look right there with Dixon, 6'6", 260. Although anymore, that's not really that big, is it?
It's like I said, that's big enough to go bear hunting with a switch. You know what I mean? That's big.
Interesting setup here for South Carolina. On third down, they're just going to barrel everybody. That's Walt Canny taking the football. He breaks it inside the 20, inside the 10, and taken out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. Walt Canny, he's starting this game at defensive back, but they did exactly what they used him for when he played in high school at Dorman. They would bring him in situations like that to straight run out of the backfield. He goes 22 yards on that play.
Just a little Q-tail. Old Q-tail, here it is. Direct snap to him. Canny gets everybody to the inside and gets to the outside, uses his speed. You know, Canny didn't have to go far for practice this week either. He's at Dorman High School, which is where both teams practice.
He would just show up every day like it was normal. First down and goal, South Carolina from the 5. Straight up the middle, pretty good game. But you saw that penalty marker fly in at about the 7-yard line.
Probably going to get somebody not set at the line of scrimmage. Illegal motion, that's it.
So that's going to cost South Carolina 5 yards, so wipe out that play. Again,
tough one there.
Yeah. Again, a step forward, a big step forward at that time, and then take it back about 5 yards as we're at the 2:09 mark before halftime.
It's a motion call.
That's going to back the football up to the 10 and bring up second down and goal from the 10. There's Ted Luckadoo.
Wholesale substitutions as they're going to get McElveen back in the game now.
It's a brand new look on offense. Brought in about 11 new guys right there. McElveen is back in at quarterback. Rolls to his left, heat coming, throws towards the end zone, in and out of the hands of Neely. Neely was open, just couldn't quite handle it. That'll bring up second and goal.
Yeah, Jeffrey coming back across the middle of the end zone. He was starting to break free, but he had to make a decision because he was getting some heat hard from the outside.
You know, we came in talking a lot about Jeffrey and also Jheranie Boyd, but they've been shut out so far in this opening half. Second down and goal, South Carolina. Again, McElveen at quarterback. And we got whistles before we get the snap away. South Carolina really needs to get at least a touchdown here. Try to get this deficit under 10 by halftime. North Carolina will get the football to start the second half.
I think it's really important for South Carolina to get on the board here and carry that momentum through.
3 wideouts to the top of your screen. That is Jeffrey at the bottom. McElveen looking right under heat. Big sack back outside the 20-yard line. Huge sack by North Carolina. Jared McAdoo out of Chapel Hill came in there and just snuffed that play out. And so you're looking at third and goal from the 21.
Here we go again. Watch McAdoo. He comes from the left side. He just beats everybody all the way around. And he had Dante Moss in tow. That's a pretty formidable situation. Those two guys will be together next year at the University of North Carolina, giving a lot of people in the ACC problems as well, I'm sure.
Third down. South Carolina is 2 for 7 in this game, and now a timeout is going to be taken here that stops the clock at 1:10 before halftime. Let's check in with Joni.
Hi, Fred. This is Joni, and we're here with Al Madsen, one of the Imperial officers for the Shriners Hospitals for Children. Al, what does this game mean to the Shriners Hospitals for Children?
Well, this game is one of our oldest running high school all-star games. It's been running for 72 years, and throughout the year we play about 32 other games throughout the country. And of course, the granddaddy of all our games is the East-West Shrine Bowl game. We run 22 hospitals, and our budget for next year will be $870 million. That's $2.38 million each and every day to run those hospitals. The good news is we have no cash registers, and we've been doing this for 22 years.
That's great, Al. Now, we've heard that the players had the chance to meet with some of the children at the Greenville Hospital. What does that mean to the children, and what does that mean to the players as serving as role models for those students?
Well, the children are very excited to see those players come through, and we've been doing this for years. We bus them down on Sunday, and they get to visit the children, and it's really something to see these players that are huge, 300 pounds or more, with tears in their eyes when they visit these children, and it's so exciting for the children. You know, they hug them and thank them for coming, and it's just a good thing for both of us to do that.
There's a good look right there at the Shriners Hospital for Children. The kids absolutely eat that visit up. While they were having that conversation, you saw Alshon Jeffrey actually catch the ball. It was ruled out of bounds, so Clayton's going to be trying a field goal here from 38 yards. The kick is up, and it is no good, so South Carolina is not able to come up with anything out of that possession. North Carolina continues to lead 16-3. We're in Spartanburg, and back with more straight away. Back at Spartanburg in North Carolina with the football with just under a minute to go in the half, and they're already going to go into kneel it down position right here. They got the football inside their 20. They're going to get the ball to start the second half, and with a 13-point lead, I don't think they want to do anything silly.
Nah, you just get in the victory form. This, again, is just that conservative form that Gary Fowler is known for. He's just going to sit on the ball, go in, gets the ball, start the second half, make the adjustments.
He'll take another kneel down right here. One of the interesting things this week, they always practice in pretty good proximity to each other, but it looked like even more than normal when they practice at Dorman. They are very, very close when they work out.
Yeah, it's very close. And, you know, the one thing we talked about, the college coaches not being here this year, so Monday and Tuesday, it was very sparse as far as the crowd was concerned.
That's right. They've made a rule change this year. The college's coaches who used to come here for many years to watch the players, well, they didn't get that opportunity this year because of that rule change. We'll talk about that more in the second half. But as you can see, we've come to the end of the opening half here in Spartanburg. And North Carolina, they're in pretty good shape right now with a 16-3 lead. They've used a couple of big plays to make things happen in this game. And they've got about a 2-touchdown lead, 13 points as we hit the break.
Back at the Bilo recruiting stage, I'm here with Jheranie Boyd. Jheranie, how does it feel to be playing in today's Shrine Bowl, and what are your expectations for today's game?
I mean, it's an honor to play in the Shrine Bowl, picking the best players out of North and South Carolina. You know, you're going against the best competition.
Well, Jheranie, where have you chosen to play?
I chose North Carolina.
You want to go ahead and put your hat on? I know all these UNC fans are looking forward to seeing you. Jheranie, what expectations do you have for your game at the next level?
I have high expectations. I have high goals. I plan on getting my degree in 3.5 years, hopefully going pro in 3.5 years. I expect to bring a lot of things to the table. North Carolina coming in and starting as a true freshman and impacting them very quickly.
You're watching the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. North Carolina 16, South Carolina 3. The halftime report brought to you by Spartanburg Regional Sports Medicine. 16-3, North Carolina with the lead over South Carolina. Fred Cunningham and Gene Knight back with you, and a couple of big plays by North Carolina. It's the difference in the game.
It sure is. It's called football, kicking game, and you got turnovers also on the defensive side, interceptions that hurt North Carolina.
Well, South Carolina had a couple of opportunities in that first half. Watch DJ Swearinger as we take a look at your highlights. We'll haul in this interception on the tip pass.
Looking for the tight end all the way, just tip drill. Swearinger comes up with a big interception for South Carolina to stop the scoring drive.
And this is Michael Frazier who makes a nice adjustment to haul in another pass.
And he just watched Mooring's eyes the whole way and made the play. This is a kicking game where it got South Carolina.
The kicker, Grant Clayton, kind of flipped the ball up in the air and went right into the hands of Terry Schenkel, who goes 59 yards. This made it 9-3. Then watch Desmond Lowry go 54 yards.
We talk about South Point High School having an impact. This is South Point out of North Carolina, Belmont, North Carolina to be exact. Desmond Lowry going 50-plus yards for the touchdown.
All right, 16-3 is the halftime score in favor of North Carolina. We're back with much more in just a moment. You're watching the 72nd Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas being presented by Bilo. Back with more from Spartanburg in a moment. Fred Cunningham, Gene Knight, Joni Lockridge as we start the second half of the Shrine Bowl in Spartanburg. North Carolina receiving the kickoff and a pretty good return up to about the 27, up to about the 29-yard line, and that's where North Carolina will take over first down and 10 as you see a 20-yard return there by Kevin Fogg, the running back out of Apex, North Carolina. So North Carolina going back on offense with the lead at 16-3, and they start again at their 29-yard line with Desmond Lowry at quarterback. Tar Heels with a couple of big plays in that first half to take the lead. They go I formation this time and straight up the middle, and just not much running room there at all. Tyler Shatley, who's a fullback, looked like he was working out of the I formation there. As you take a look at your first half statistics, and 40 or 54 of those yards on the ground for North Carolina coming on one single play.
I think the glaring statistic we talked about the pregame, we thought North Carolina was going to keep the ball, but South Carolina's had the ball for 19 minutes and 20 seconds in the first half, unable to come up with a number of points as North Carolina is doing a number.
So right now, I would think that Gary Fowler likes the way this game is going, even though it hasn't gone exactly by the script he had in mind. Second down and 10, no gain on that first down play, and just pushing it up the middle up to about the 34-yard line. So that'll be about a 4-yard gain on that play for North Carolina.
Once again, it was Tyler Shatley, fullback out of Eastbrook and Connolly Springs, North Carolina. He's going to be wearing the orange and purple in South Carolina next year for the Clemson Tigers.
Clemson, of course, looking at bringing him in to back up Chad Dean, a fullback who's already there, so they're kind of reviving the position a little bit there. At Death Valley, you take a good look at Desmond Lowry, who came in earlier in the week when Everett Proctor just was not able to go for North Carolina. He's been very effective, as we mentioned. He's got a 50-plus touchdown run. Again, keeping the football on the ground. It's going to be short of the first down by a couple of yards right there, and it looks like South Carolina has held as North Carolina sends in the punt team. Take a good look right there at big number 66, Javon Weston, defensive lineman out of Crestwood.
Javon Weston and Pete Roseboro out of South Point High School in Rock Hill, South Carolina on the tackle that time. Weston hit him. Roseboro finished him off.
Matt Millisore will punt. Walt Canty waits for it at the 21. Kick is away. Canty fields it at the 26, has some running room. 30, 35. Kind of running sideways to get to the 40. High steps it out of bounds at about the 45-yard line, so a pretty good return by Canty, and South Carolina will have excellent field position for their first possession of the second half. There is a good look at Canty, who's going to be heading to Duke, 5'11", 200-pounder. Did a little bit of everything for the Dorman Cavaliers. Played a little quarterback. We actually saw him in the first half.
Done a little bit of everything here today. I was
That's
going to
right.
say, I mean, yeah, we saw him in the Q-tail formation. He's played great on the defensive side of the ball, and he's also fielding the punts.
Took a 21-yard run off his one quarterback snap he took back in the first half to put up a goal-to-go situation for South Carolina. So back on offense, Stephon Gilmore is at the controls. He's pretty much split the duties back there with Donnie McKelveen. From the 46th, South Carolina's Mr. Football. And on first down, running the football and just not much running room at all that time for King. And it looked like that was Dante Moss who came in there to take care of that. And the linebacker has just had an outstanding game so far today.
Dante is just blowing everything up for South Carolina. Oops.
But meanwhile, it looks like we got a face mask penalty that's going to go against North Carolina. Here's another look at it.
Rocarius King out of Timberland. And the face mask comes in there late. There it is.
Right, yeah.
Just a
good camera work right in there.
Sure was.
Jared McAdoo came in there, got a piece of that face mask, so a big loss. Actually turns out to be a little bit of a gain for South Carolina. They're looking now at first down and about 6. There is Stephon Gilmore, 6'2", 198. Kind of a delay right there. He's going to keep the football, and he's going to come up short of the line of scrimmage. Once again, Jared McAdoo in the backfield. McAdoo, we've been calling his name numerous times today, and he's been putting on a show.
Yeah. He's a load. He's hard for this offensive line to get a handle on. This play was kind of blown up from the get-go, and McAdoo just hanging around in the middle there. Gobbles up Stephon Gilmore.
Looked like he was trying to get the ball to McDowell perhaps on that handoff and just had to kind of go straight up the middle and couldn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Second down now and about 6. 4 wide receivers, 2 to either side of the field. Gilmore straight drop, throws, incomplete. Looking up to about the 45-yard line, but the ball falls incomplete. He was looking for Asa Watson out of Rock Hill. That'll bring up third down. Watson has a brother you may know, Ben Watson, who plays tight end for the New England Patriots.
Sure does. Asa not quite sure where he's going to end up in his collegiate career. Of course, Ben went to Duke and then finished at Georgia. And Asa's a fine young man and represents Rock Hill High School very well.
So third down now coming up for South Carolina. They were 2 of 8 in the first half. Green is in the backfield with Gilmore, who rolls right. Now he's in trouble. Football comes loose. Now it's a scramble for it. The ball is still loose. North Carolina's got a great chance to pick it up, in which they do. They've got the ball back inside around the 20-yard line. Another disastrous play for South Carolina. It looks like that was Bell who came up with the fumble at long last, and look where North Carolina has the ball.
Hawatha Bell out of Butler High School. Defensive coordinator is Shaughnessy out of Butler. Here you can see Stephon Gilmore just lets it get away from him. Dante Moss in there again, pestering him. And Bell, you can see number 34, trying to pick the handle up and get going.
Yep. Moss will actually come in. He's actually going to force the turnover, and Gilmore is trying to kind of look like you want to dive on it at that point, don't you?
But all-star game, you want to try to make a play, too.
Probably true. First down and 10 for North Carolina. 3 turnovers now for South Carolina, but on first down, Mooring's pass goes incomplete. That'll bring up second down. Mooring and Lowry have kind of split duties here. As you can see, Ted Luckadoo, again, it's just been a lot of huge plays. We've seen a lot of just huge backwards plays in this game. I can't remember this many. Of course, it is an all-star game. It's not that unusual.
It's turnovers. Turnovers will kill you in any type of a game.
So from the 21-yard line, good look at Brett Mooring right there. Threw for nearly 3,900 yards. They're going to keep it on the ground, and there's nowhere for Larry Raper to run this time. He's going to go back for a loss of about all the way back to about the 25-yard line. Green came in to help make the stop for South Carolina, but that's going to bring up third down and long as South Carolina is trying to dodge a bullet here after a big turnover.
Just great penetration that time. by the South Carolina defensive line. They just got off their blocks really quickly, and nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for the North Carolina offensive back.
It's going to be officially a loss of about 4 yards, or perhaps 3, so it'll be 3rd down and about 13.
Saw Coach Fowler pacing there. He knows this is a big opportunity for North Carolina to stretch this lead out.
Mooring working under center this time. They will do the reverse on the end around. Inside the 20, we got a penalty marker down, perhaps 2 penalty markers down as the ball goes out of bounds. Jheranie Boyd, I believe that might be the first time he's had his hands on the ball all day long, but it looks like the play could be coming back with markers down.
Try to get it to him in the end zone in the very first series after North Carolina recovered the fumble. 2 penalties.
Wow. Yep. They got the motion. Also a hold will go against North Carolina, so that's going to make it 3rd down and longer. 9:23 left in quarter number 3.
Coach Fowler knows he wants to get the ball into Boyd's hands because he knows he can lose it. Here we go.
Yep. Larry Raper.
Yeah. Tailback. Backfield in motion.
Made that just slight move, and that brought out the flag.
Motion penalty they're going to take.
So it's going to bring up 3rd down. The football now pushed back to the 29-yard line. 3rd down and 18. Again, they got the 2 big backs in the backfield. They've got Shatley and Terry, the 2 fullbacks. As you can see, the penalty yardage. South Carolina's had some key penalties. Those 5 have been costly. 3rd down. Mooring with some play action, now running. He's going to go down for a sack, and also a penalty flag comes down at the end of the play, but that's big Sam Montgomery who comes in to make the sack. He had 11 of them on the season for Greenwood High School. I think the penalty flag is going to go against North Carolina, perhaps for a hold here.
Montgomery is a load. He's tough to handle.
They will decline that penalty. That pushes the football all the way back out now to the 39-yard line. So that's going to take him out of field goal range. As you see Sam Montgomery there, 6'4", 235.
He's got a short list of Alabama, Clemson, USC, Georgia, and Florida.
So from the 39-yard line, Millisore is in to punt. Bill Punt standing at his own 48, and once again Walt Caney waits for the ball at the 10, so it looks like South Carolina dodged a bullet. Kind of a delayed kick right there. Well out of the end zone, so South Carolina will get the football at their own 20 when we come back. 38 yards on that punt. It's 16-3 North Carolina. You're watching the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas presented by Barlett. The 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas is brought to you by McDonald's and the Army Strong. Moore has just made his biggest play of this football game, as he did what Stephon Gilmore does best. He got really creative with the football, did some cutting back, and he takes the football well into North Carolina territory, picking up 47 yards to the North Carolina 33.
Here you can see him coming down the line on the option. He gets the pressure. Here's the cutback right here as he gets a block from the official and gets to the outside, and that's what Stephon Gilmore does. Nice block on the outside there by Justin Trapp as he got Quan Rucker, and Gilmore almost took that one to the house.
Mikhail Brooks finally pushed him out of bounds, but not before he gets inside the 35-yard line. Gilmore staying at quarterback. The handoff right here, but Roderick McDowell, he's just had a hard time finding any kind of running room today. Gets popped pretty good. There's the guy out of Sumter, planning on going to Clemson.
Quinn Smith made the tackle that time. He just manhandled him. 6'2", 210-pounder out of High Britain in Lenoir, North Carolina, going to the University of South Carolina. So they'll see each other again in a couple of years, too.
No gain on that play. It'll bring up second down. So it looks like we might have a penalty going against North Carolina here. Gary Fowler is actually out on the field about a good 7 or 8 yards out there trying to make his case.
He spent about as much time on the field as a lot of the players today. He is an animated guy. He's a fun guy to be around. He has a good time practicing.
Personal foul is going to go against North Carolina. That's going to be a walk-off all the way down to the 19-yard line. So that's where South Carolina will continue this drive. And now they are in scoring range, trailing in this game by 13 with another first down. Gilmore and McDowell are in the backfield. 3 wideouts to the bottom of your screen. You can see what Gilmore has done on the day, although he's had some negative plays. And once again, penalty marker before we get the snap. May have been Denzel Good going off a little bit early there.
Left tackle got a little bit anxious and started backing up a little too quick.
It is the nature of an all-star game. They actually got together a week ago today and were on the practice field for the first time on Monday. And even with the 2-a-days, kind of getting everything coordinated is always a little bit of a challenge.
Well, you got a different cadence, a different bark from the quarterback, if you will.
On second down, or first down, I should say, the pass to Trapp is complete. Trapp gets inside the 10, out of bounds, at about the 9-yard line. He is very close to that first down. It would be first down and goal. We'll see where they're going to mark the football. Again, very close to that first down.
Nice move by Trapp. And also nice for Gilmore to come back to him because Trapp made a great block for him on the outside on that previous play on the big run. Trapp almost got in the end zone.
We're going to have to measure right here to see if he did get that first down for Justin Trapp, who played quarterback at Fairfield Central. That's his 3rd catch of the game.
Here's the play. The outside there, Trapp catches the ball and then does what he does, gets into space. Nice tackle, though, there by number 22 for North Carolina. That's Joshua Hunter out of Mallard Creek in Charlotte. Did a good job of hanging it on to Trapp, not letting him get in the end zone.
It's going to be first and goal, South Carolina. Trapp was able to get that back, so not only does he get the 10 yards, he also picks up that penalty yardage back. So first and goal, South Carolina, halfway through quarter number 3. And once again, we've got that look with Walt Canny in the backfield at quarterback with 3 blockers to his right. He's been known to throw out of formations like this. He'll keep it right side, inside the 5. Touchdown, South Carolina.
Q-tail. Walt Canny for the touchdown. Puts the South Carolina All-Stars on the board for the first time with a touchdown today.
9 yards on this carry.
You can see it again. Just a lot of beef out in front of him, and he just does a good job of finding the hole and sprinting to the end zone.
They ran that formation frequently throughout his career at Dorman High School. As I mentioned, he was known for actually throwing the football out of that formation. That time he kept it, took it in, and now Grant Clayton is going to try the extra point, although we've got a late substitution coming in. South Carolina only had 10 guys on the field, so they're going to have to go ahead and burn a timeout here at the 7:07 mark. 16-9 is the lead for North Carolina. We're in the 3rd quarter of the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas, presented by Bilo. Walt Canny to the end zone to get South Carolina back in it. 16-9 South Carolina, and Grant Clayton is going to try to make it a 6-point game as he attempts the extra point after that timeout. South Carolina has 11 on the field now. And it's good, so they've got 10 on the scoreboard. So suddenly the game is a lot closer again at 16-10, and we still, again, have just over 7 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter, and that got the fans going here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And let's head downstairs and check in with Joni Lockridge.
Thanks, Fred. I'm here with Riley Fields, Director of Community Relations with the Carolina Panthers. Riley, what does it mean for the Carolina Panthers to be involved in today's game?
Well, Joni, the Carolina Panthers are proud to be involved with the Shrine Bowl. It's such a great part of the fabric and heritage of North and South Carolina for over 70 years. And what's really interesting to us is just the lineage of these players out here, really, that go from the preps to the pros. And just over the course of the game, the history of the game, there's been, I think, over 100, 120 players that have gone on to play in the NFL. And just from the Panthers standpoint, a few years ago, we had 6 guys on our roster that were alumni of this great game. And so it's really neat to know that these kids that folks are enjoying watching today, they're going to go on to fabulous collegiate careers and maybe one day play in the NFL. And I would also have to say, also just supporting the mission of the Shrine Bowl and the great work that it does for the Shriners Children's Hospital. It's a great endeavor and something we're excited to support.
We had the chance to talk off camera a little bit about the community captains. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that's a program that we've run for several years now. Our community captains program recognizes outstanding high school football players who are not only leaders on the football field, but in the classroom and in their community. We recognize 10 players per year from around North and South Carolina. And what we're really excited about today is 5 players that are out on the field today that I'll run through the names. Perry Simmons, Tyler Howe, Kendrick Wiggins, Asa Watson, and Malachi Goodman are all members of our community captain class. So it kind of speaks to the caliber of the young men that are actually out here on the field today, not only just great athletes, but great student athletes and great members of their community. And 3 of the guys, Asa, Malachi, and Tyler, were also voted team captains. So again, not only have we recognized them as being leaders, their peers have also recognized them as leaders, and we hope to encourage their continued growth in the leadership roles as they grow into young men and become productive citizens.
Well, thanks for joining us, Riley. Back to you, Fred.
All right, thank you, Joni. As you can see right there, a nice catch being made there for North Carolina. That was Kendrick Wiggins who hauled in that reception as North Carolina has the football. Walt Canny, who just scored the touchdown a moment ago, makes the tackle on that play. Just to follow up, one other point from that interview is the fact that in the previous NFL draft earlier this year, 6 players who played in this game were drafted by the National Football League back in April.
Speaks volumes. Speaks volumes for the amount of the caliber of young men that come out of both the Carolinas. And we got South Point going against South Point again here in the second half because Coach Fowler has gone back to his South Point horse in Desmond Lowry.
Desmond Lowry looking, though, at 3rd down and 9 and whistles before we get that play underway. So wipe out that pitch right there.
Tell you what, Walt Canny is quite the football player. He's doing it all on both sides of the ball, and I know Coach Luckadoo was really glad to have him on his team.
So it's going to be an offsides against South Carolina, so that's going to make the job a lot easier for North Carolina now. They go from 3rd and 9 to 3rd and 4.
Changes your play selection a lot. Coach Olis from Polk County is the offensive coordinator for the North Carolina team. He didn't have a whole long drive, did he, to here?
He had a nice, less than an hour to make it from Polk County to Spartanburg for practice during the week. So Desmond Lowry, who has a touchdown run in this game. North Carolina, as you can see, they've missed 5 of 6 tries on 3rd down. Pure option right there, and he collided with his fullback and still dove forward. That's going to probably cost the chance to get that 1st down. They just made that collision right there.
Well, it was South Point meeting South Point. That's Pete Roseborough from South Point High School in Rock Hill who made the tackle on Desmond Lowry of South Point out of Belmont, North Carolina.
So that mistake right there on the option winds up leaving North Carolina about 3 yards short of the 1st down. So they're going to have to kick the football away again, and Millisore ready to kick it. He's averaged 40 yards a kick on the day. Candy waits for it. Hauls it in at the 40. The ball gets by him. He chases it back down and is able to cover it at about the 31-yard line. So lose about 9 yards on that loose football. But South Carolina will get the football back, and they're trailing now by just 6 points after that 32-yard punt.
Candy doing a good job of just getting on the football. He didn't try to pick it up and make any yardage. He knew, let's take the ball and run from there.
They will mark the football at the 32-yard line, and Gilmore will come back out at quarterback. He's going to have McDowell in the backfield with him. 4 wide receivers on 1st down and 10. South Carolina scoring their first touchdown of this game the last time they had the football. Gilmore will keep it. Dives forward for about 2 yards. That'll bring up 2nd down.
Nice tackle by number 81, McAdoo again. McAdoo and Moss are quite the force to be reckoned with on this North Carolina defense. They've really got to have a lot of tackles there for their team.
And McAdoo with 5 tackles now in the football game. Spencer Shuey leading the way with 6 for North Carolina. As you take a look at Jared McAdoo, 6'2", 288. Gain of 2 on that play. Gilmore takes the high snap. Will keep it on the option. Goes forward, 40, up to about the 41-yard line. Looks like he's going to be about a yard short of 1st down, and that's going to bring up 3rd and short.
You saw the quickness of Gilmore on that play. He just made the defensive end miss. And he fired across the line. You can see him coming down the line on the option. He's got McDowell out there on the left. Just makes him miss. He gets to the inside and then tucks it under and drives forward.
Coming in to make that stop, Lamar McClendon out of 71st High School in Fayetteville. Canty in that Q formation again, but we got a penalty marker down right at the snap.
I think somebody was set, or maybe North Carolina was offside. We'll have to wait and see.
North Carolina, judging by the South Carolina players' reaction, and you see the official make the same call. So that's an easy way to pick up a 3rd down and short. Automatic 1st down for South Carolina as we come up on 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. And Walt Canty is going to actually stay in at quarterback on 1st down and 10 from just beyond the 45-yard line. Canty goes right side, has to break a tackle, gives that stiff arm and gets out of bounds around midfield. They're going to mark him out right there just short of the 50, and pretty good stiff arm there by Canty.
Yeah, he showed you his strength on the outside there. Dante Moss finally cut him off, but Canty just stiff arming the defender out of the way and picking up positive yardage.
He's listed at 5'11", 200, but he just looks bigger out there. He just looks like a physical player.
Oh, he is. He's a Ronnie Lott, I guess, style player you would think of. Somebody as a defensive back and somebody who can do a little something else. Coach Fowler, the defensive coach, he's trying to figure out a way to stop this offense.
He picked up 4 yards, did Canty. Leaves the game to return Gilmore to quarterback. Right at midfield. And this is McDowell, his best run of the game so far. He gets the 1st down and more into North Carolina territory. He stopped at the 40. That should be a pickup of 10 yards, and that will move the chains for South Carolina.
Nice tackle that time by Quinn Smith. Smith didn't let him get loose. Kept him to the inside, followed the pursuit, and then wrapped him up. Stopped McDowell before he could get loose. I saw him in a playoff game against Rock Hill High School, and he can hurt you if he gets loose.
Smith is from Lenoir, North Carolina. 1st and 10, South Carolina now from the 40. McDowell will stay in the game. We'll take it again. He's going to go for a big loss this time, taking it all the way back to the 45-yard line. Jamal Dixon out of Gates County he kind of broke himself outside and kind of looked up, and suddenly he was just full of Jamal Dixon.
There's a lot of a blow up in the middle there. There was good penetration. You can see here on the North Carolina defensive line. They just got people all over the place. Number 44 in there as well. Lamar McClendon out of 71st in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Going to be a Pirate next year.
Meanwhile, though, we've got a penalty marker that goes against North Carolina. They've called a face mask penalty against North Carolina. That's their 2nd of the game. I believe both of their face mask penalties have come off good defensive plays.
Exactly. We had the one against, I believe it was King, or Carius King, who was a running back from South Carolina, just barely grabbed his face mask and cost him 15 yards.
So instead of a loss on that play, they actually pick up 2 yards to make it 1st down now and 8. We're inside 1 minute in the 3rd quarter. South Carolina just has owned the football in this game. A huge edge in 1st downs, as you can see. Gilmore in the open field. This is where he's dangerous. He's got the first down. He's inside the 20, or inside the 30, I should say. We'll see where he's going to be officially marked out of bounds. Looks like it's going to be at the 25-yard line. But Gilmore, who kind of struggled in the first half, has really got it going here in quarter number 3.
You can see what kind. He's Mr. Football, and you can see what kind of an impact player he is. If you give him space, he will take advantage of it, and he will make you pay. You can see on the replay here, watch on the outside after Gilmore gets loose. Number 84, Jheranie, out of Northwestern High School, who's an arch rival, is out there picking up the block on Jaqueen Smith and allows Gilmore to get more positive yardage further down the field.
Smith finally pushed him out of bounds, but again, not before he gets to the 25-yard line. Gilmore, as you can see, beginning to really exert himself a little bit. A lot of that yardage coming in this second half. He's been the busiest ball carrier, too. 12 carries, leads all backs in this game. From the 25-yard line of North Carolina, Gilmore looks to throw, has a man. It is caught at about the 15-yard line. Asa Watson makes the reception.
Asa, one of the captains today.
Nice catch by that young man. You can see him pick up that yardage. Asa, 6'4", 210. Not too difficult to find him out there.
No, I saw him catch a 99-yarder this year. Bearcats had the ball about the 1-yard line, and they lofted it up right over the defensive back, and he gathered it in, and he went 99 yards for 6 points.
Great career at Rock Hill High School. Inside 10 seconds to go in the quarter. McDowell up the middle. He's inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line on what appears to have been the final play of quarter number 3. It is 16-10, North Carolina over South Carolina, but South Carolina is threatening. You're watching the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas presented by Bilo. We'll return in a moment to Spartanburg, South Carolina. You're watching the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. Due to time restraints, we move on to further action. Jheranie going in there to score a touchdown that has now tied this game, and South Carolina will be able to take the lead if they can convert the extra point on the first play of scrimmage from the fourth quarter.
Jheranie is a running back who they've converted to a wideout. Jheranie running out of Northwestern's offense from the running back position, but he is very dangerous when you put the ball in his hands.
14 yards on that scoring play, and the extra point is up and good by Grant Clayton, and South Carolina has taken the lead at 17-16.
There he is. You see the move as he cuts back, takes it into the end zone.
5'9", 170. He just did a little bit of everything right there, so what a way to start this third quarter for South Carolina. They now take a 1-point lead. As you know, they trailed this game 16-3 at halftime, but now leads 17-16. So North Carolina, which has really struggled in the second half, they've got to get it going all of a sudden because that cushion they had is now gone.
I watched Coach Fowler on the touchdown on the other side. He took his headset off and threw it down. He was upset. Like I said, he's a defensive guy. He wants his defense to perform and stuff the offense. So he's going to go to work on his defense while Coach Olis goes to work on the offensive side.
So Clayton gets ready to kick off the football again. South Carolina had over 100 yards of total offense in that third quarter. They had barely over 100 in the first half. Kick is going to go into the end zone, bounced right at that goal line. So North Carolina will go back on offense. First down and 10 from their own 20. They've used both quarterbacks in the third quarter, but both Mooring and Lowry just really have not been able to get the attack going. 3 quarters are complete. Take a look at your numbers, and one of the things that kind of sticks out, the time of possession sort of evened up a little bit, but again, South Carolina really owned quarter number 3.
And even the penalties have sort of come back. North Carolina had the advantage at the half, but now with the penalties 6 times for 50 yards, and those penalties have hurt them and given South Carolina opportunities on drives.
So Mooring will start this series at quarterback. Looks to throw, but he's going to be brought down for a sack back inside the 10-yard line. Big sack coming in there for South Carolina, and making that stop, Malachi Goodman out of West Florence, 6'4", 250.
You see on the replay here, Goodman will just stand up to center and just drive him right back to the quarterback and gather him in. Ooh, very close to getting a face mask penalty there against Goodman.
Goodman is a guy that has just been very difficult to handle in practice all week. They call him Handzilla. He's got a 7-foot wingspan to go along with that size, 6'4", 250. The loss 7 yards, second down, 17. Quick throw and catch is made, and a huge hit right there. Boyd made the catch, but paid the price for it. Huge hit coming in there for South Carolina.
Robinson
That's
again.
Alex Robinson out of Saluda.
Robinson with a tremendous play. He came out of there with the football, thought maybe he'd recovered it. But the official said no. Boyd held on to it. You can see the replay here. Boyd's going to come to the bottom of your screen. Here he is right there, and boom, here comes Robinson.
He just flew to the football to stop him now to make it 3rd down and 17. Mooring sets up a screen. It's going to fall incomplete, and that's going to bring up 4th down. So another 3 and out for North Carolina. Pass was intended outside. They were trying to get it to Hunter Furr, the running back out of Mount Tabor, but North Carolina, not only do they give up the football, but South Carolina's going to get a chance to get this ball in terrific field position.
You can hear the crowd from South Carolina come to life. They haven't had a whole lot to cheer about in the first half of the ball game.
So getting ready to punt now, Millisor. He actually stands about 2 yards into his own end zone, and Canny waits for the football at his 48. Kick is very good, drives Canny all the way back to about his own 44-yard line. He's at midfield, 45-40, out of bounds at about the 36-yard line, and a huge collision away from the football there, and they are doing some celebrating on that South Carolina sideline. It looked like it was Robinson again.
Yeah, it was Robinson again on the blindside block. I don't know who he picked up, but here it comes. You can see Canny, the wall being set up. You have 48, number 70 from North Carolina is Jamal Dixon. Was the recipient of that blindside block.
Wow.
From Robinson.
Robinson just came in there with a shot after that 43-yard punt, and a nice return by Walt Canny. And you can see over there on the North Carolina sideline, Dixon still feeling it. And I'll tell you, Alexander Robinson, we mentioned it earlier, for the first time in more than 3 decades, a Saluda football player makes the Shrine Bowl, and we've called his number a couple of times. Let's take a look at it again.
Ooh, there it is. He's making some noise, too. They've been working on him for 30 years to get him here, you know.
Candy's reaction was priceless. He just heard all the groaning going on behind him. He kind of turned around and said, what did I miss? What did I miss? So
he got up and was looking out the ear hole.
Oh, wow.
It was a big knock.
Well, the good news, Dixon back up on his feet and back on the North Carolina sideline. South Carolina now taking over at the North Carolina 38. A couple of touchdowns to take this lead of 17-16. Gilmore remains in at quarterback. That is trap in motion. They fake the handoff to him, and across the 30-yard line down to about the 29 goes Gilmore. So a pretty good first down play. Handing it off to the South Point quarterback, who is Mr. Football in South Carolina.
You know, we talk about how players, we have with player Robinson coming out of Saluda for the first time in a few years. You know, players in the Shrine Bowl are selected by coaches. They're announced in October, and each team has around 46 players, and the Shriners are not involved in any of the player selection. So it's a very, very big honor to be selected by a coach.
Second down and about 5. High snap hauled in by Gilmore. Then he drops the football. It's picked up by North Carolina. Scramble for it again. It is picked up again. And making a good run with it goes Lamar McClendon. So McClendon has given North Carolina a great opportunity to get back in the football game. They were on their heels, but suddenly that sideline is fired up, and they got the football back near midfield.
Turnovers. They will hurt you. Here you can see on the replay, I don't know, Gilmore just has it bounce off of his shoulder pad. He runs it into his own man. Clendon out there gathers it in and says, I'll be the star.
That is now South Carolina's third fumble of this game that's gone away from them. And so now North Carolina has the football. And Lowry is at quarterback. And they're going to go with 4 wide receivers with Shatley, the lone running back. They give it to Shatley, who just kind of powers his way into South Carolina territory at about the 45, mark it at the 44-yard line. So a pickup there on first down of close to 7 yards.
Nice tackle that time by Goodman out of West Florence. He was assisted by number 44, James Avery, his teammate from West Florence.
See DJ Swearinger standing behind him. Second down and 3, officially 7 yards on that gain. North Carolina again going with a one-back offense. Terry, the fullback, is the lone back, and he's going to take the football right there, and just not much running room that time.
Boston came out just a little bit. See
the South Carolina football, who's actually one of the South Carolina players, has the ball. Joshua Roseboro had it, and the South Carolina actually comes away with the football. So the turnover hurts North Carolina.
Player slowly getting off of the ground for South Carolina.
Justice Cunningham coming off the field celebrating, although, as you mentioned, we still have a South Carolina player down on the field. 17-16. South Carolina has the lead. Just over 10 minutes to go in Spartanburg. You're watching the 72nd Annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. You're watching the 72nd Annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. Due to time restraints, we move on to further action. Michael Washington, Randy Presley are waiting back for North Carolina, waiting for the punt coming from Grant Clayton. 17-16 in favor of South Carolina. Punt is away. This will be Presley at about his 21. 30. Out of bounds at about the 35-yard line, and that's where North Carolina will go back on offense. First down and 10. Randy Presley out of North Buncombe High School in Weaverville.
He's the athlete. He's the guy they're going to use every place. I saw him playing some quarterback.
17-16 in favor of South Carolina. They trailed 16-3 at the half, but have scored a couple of touchdowns here in the second half to take a 1-point lead. Much of the work being done offensively by Stephon Gilmore at quarterback. Mooring in at quarterback for North Carolina on first down. They hand up the ball up the middle for about 3 or 4 yards on that play. On the carry for North Carolina, Hunter Furr out of Mount Tabor High School in Winston-Salem.
Furr's a young man they've used all over too. He's played some tailback and some fullback as well. He gives you that little small fullback that can break something really quickly up the middle.
He scored 95 touchdowns in his career, which is a Forsyth County record. On second down, it's Furr again up the middle. He's got the first down as he falls across the 45 up to about the 46-yard line. So back-to-back outstanding runs by Hunter Furr. As a junior, he played with a shoulder injury that needed reconstructive surgery, yet he just kept playing with it all year. Then came out and had an outstanding senior year, enough of a senior year to get the notice of the North Carolina coaches, and he was named to this roster. So Brett Mooring will now work out of the shotgun, first and 10 from his own 46. On the ground again, Furr, straight up the middle. Not as much running room this time, about 3 yards on that play.
South Carolina did a good job shutting that down, moving to the inside and stopping Furr. Before in the last couple of plays, like we talked about, North Carolina's offensive line had been knocking them off the ball. Credit to those young men up front.
Officially 2 yards on that pickup, second down and 8 coming up. Hunter Furr is going to be playing his college football at North Carolina. Mooring throws it, has a man, it's complete. 45, midfield into South Carolina territory, and finally down at about the 48-yard line. Corey Gaddis out of Hillside High School in Durham did a pretty good job eluding a tackler in the backfield before he's finally brought down on the play there by Kevin Sinkler out of Sumter.
Sinkler doing a good job of staying home and not getting caught as the tackle was missed initially behind the line of scrimmage. And again, you can see here, Gaddis just a quick out, swing out of the linebacker misses on the outside, and then Sinkler got Gaddis out of bounds.
3rd down and 4 coming up. North Carolina just 1 for 8 on 3rd down in this game, and it's intercepted. Pass is picked off. On his way to the end zone. Touchdown, South Carolina. And give that touchdown to Jared Williams out of Daniel.
Little beamer ball early. Jared Williams is going to be playing at Virginia Tech next year. And that just shows you why. Frank Beamer loves defense and good defensive players.
Jared Williams picks it off, takes it all the way to the end zone to stretch this South Carolina lead out. It's at 7 now at 23-16. And Grant Clayton will try to make it an 8-point edge with 5:18 to go. Gets the congratulations there on the sideline from Ted Luckadoo. Westside High School had to play Daniel, so he's actually glad to have him on his side this year, or this game, I should say. Kick by Clayton is up, and it is good, and South Carolina's lead has grown to 8. 5:19 left in this one. South Carolina in front, 24-16. We'll be back with more from Spartanburg. So Grant Clayton will kick the football off again. South Carolina's lead has grown to 24-16. North Carolina has the football, 25-yard line or so on that return for number 3, Larry Raper out of Shelby High School. Stopped on that play by Antonio Mitchum out of Hemingway. And it's going to be 1st down and 10, North Carolina. Football right at the 25-yard line. And it's an 8-point deficit. The good news, I guess, for North Carolina is that could have been a disastrous play. They could have gone down perhaps by 2 scores this late in the game, but they still can actually score a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion, and tie this thing up.
This young man in the game, Desmond Lowry, we saw earlier how he can take it to the house very quickly on him.
Lowry on 1st down, hands the football off. Actually, he's going to keep the football on that play. And he stretches it up maybe 2 or 3 yards.
You saw that formation that time. That's a little more akin to what Desmond's used to running. The fullback right behind him, and then a wingback coming from the outside.
South Carolina looking to win this game for the 2nd year in a row. North Carolina had won 4 of the previous 6 meetings coming in. South Carolina has an 11 victory edge in this series all time. 2nd down and 6. Lowry working out of the shotgun, will go long over the middle, has a man caught, and then actually dropped about the 42-yard line. He was trying to get that ball in there to Kendrick Wiggins, who could not quite hold on to it. So that's going to bring up 3rd down and 6.
Wiggins broke free. He was wide open, ball thrown just a little bit behind him, as Lowry has 3 men over there to choose from. Wiggins, see right there, and Justin Bright, the safety, delivers a little extra.
Clock stopped, 4:15 to go. 3rd down and 6, North Carolina. They are 1 for 9 on 3rd down in this game. Lowry just throws the football away as he just had 2 or 3 South Carolina tacklers coming right at him. He had a receiver in the area, so no intentional grounding on that play. And it's going to be 4th down and a 3 and out. And South Carolina's going to get the football back.
Trying to set up a screen. It was just a poor timing situation there. He just got too much pressure too fast. Again, coming off the edge.
Josh Roseborough out of Fairfield Central was one of the 3 guys back there laying the heat. So Millisore will punt again, and Walt Canty will wait for it at his own 40-yard line. Kick is away. Kind of a line drive, and Canty will run away from it and watch North Carolina down it right at the 31-yard line, and that's where South Carolina will go back on offense as we are right at 3:59 to go in this one. So South Carolina has the ball and the lead, but they've had some problems with some turnovers here and there, so they got to be very careful as they head back out on offense.
Brett Mooring having a very rough day at quarterback for the North Carolina All-Stars. He's been picked off 3 times today. That one pick 6.
Really came back to hurt him.
It hurt him tremendously.
Canty is actually going to start this series at quarterback. Here's that formation that we've become quite familiar with. He's got 3 extra blockers to the right side. We'll go to the right side, 35-40. 45, he's in the secondary, and he's into North Carolina territory. Brought down at about the 40-yard line. Quan Rucker made the stop on Canty, who has just been terrific, and Canty actually comes up limping a little bit.
Got a little twist there maybe at the end. You can see him going off the right side, and they just pick everybody up. Big hole, just pushing everybody downfield. Smith trying to get to him, but Rucker's the last man in defense, and Rucker does a great job of wrapping him up, keeping the touchdown off the board.
May have just kind of twisted his leg a little bit there, just the way they kind of rolled over at the end. So Gilmore will come back in to replace Canty at quarterback, but they will stay in that same formation that they've been showing and just running behind all those big bodies. Gilmore, a little stutter step. Gets up near another first down. Looked like he might have been dead meat in the backfield, but just made that one slight little move, and you've been watching this all year.
First time Stephon Gilmore touched the ball as a 9th grader, he went 85 yards for a touchdown. I mean, he's been doing this, like you said, all of his career at South Point High School. You can see here, watch the move that he makes. He's just kind of a little slide slip. Whoop, there you go. Now I got you.
Yeah, Mikhail Brooks kind of came in, looked like he had a clean shot at him, but then a nice little move by Gilmore, and he was actually able to pick up the first down, so he did get 10 yards on that carry to the 29-yard line, and the clock is running at the 2:50 mark.
Steve Spurrier has told Stephon that he's going to use him in some sort of offensive package. This might be a preview of what South Carolina fans are going to see in the next 4 years.
Gilmore will keep it right side, just kind of pushes his way up to about the 25-yard line to about the 24. Whoa. We got a little contact here at the end of the play, and you saw that penalty flag get thrown right there. So we just had a little just too much action after the end of the play, and you can see immediately Gary Fowler is right out on the field with the players close to his sideline, and I think he's trying to get things settled down quickly. Personal foul going to go against North Carolina. South Carolina huddled back about the 33, so they got a pretty long walk to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Do a wind sprint to get to the line of scrimmage.
So South Carolina has the ball. They have the lead. They've got the clock on their side. They're almost kind of going into sort of like, I'm going to go way back on a lot of folks. It's almost a 4 corners-like strategy here. Yeah. You just keep the ball on the ground, pretty basic stuff.
Well, it's called the spread offense, right?
That's true. That's true. Spread them out. They're spread, but kind of that tight formation where they're just going to try to keep that clock running, and pretty good job right here by Gilmore of running this attack. In some trouble that time, still going. He's going to actually go back for a loss back to about the 17-yard line, but he's going to stay in bounds, which will keep the clock running as we hit the 2-minute mark. Tackle on that play by Joshua Hunter, the defensive back out of Mallard Creek High School in Charlotte.
And again, North Carolina did a great job that time. They put enough people on the line of scrimmage that they could figure out as soon as Stephon made his move where he was going and wrap him up. But the clock, the enemy of North Carolina, correct right now.
Loss of 5 on that play. 2nd down, 15. Ball marked at the 17-yard line, and South Carolina really not concerned with scoring, just trying to hang on the football. North Carolina has 2 timeouts, but Gary Fowler just looks like he's going to keep them at least for the moment. Once again, it's Gilmore with the football, breaks inside the 15. He's up close to the 10-yard line before he's brought down on that play. Gilmore's 18th carry of the game, and once again, there's just a little rough contact and another penalty flag that comes out here as we come up on the 1-minute mark, and maybe a little frustration now for North Carolina.
North Carolina defense is trying to tackle the football, and when you start reaching in for the ball, things like that are going to happen. And officials need to and have gotten right on top of it, separated the players and got the coaches involved as well.
There is Gary Fowler. As you can see, once again, another penalty, a personal foul will go against North Carolina. Unless things change dramatically here, Gary Fowler will be on the side of a losing Shrine Bowl effort for the second time in his career. He was an assistant back in '95 when South Carolina won 30-10, and right now South Carolina has an 8-point lead and the ball with right at 1:01 left.
Luckadoo was an assistant in '97. Is that when Luckadoo was here? I want to say sometime.
He was 97. He was an assistant. South Carolina won that game by 1. It's been a pretty even series since 2000. They've split the 8 games coming into today.
I guess the magic word there is combines.
Yeah.
Is that what you would say?
Yes, I think so.
I think North Carolina put the combines system in, and then the moving of the game to the 3rd week in December and allowing North Carolina's state championship players to come to the game, I think has made it a little more competitive.
As you can see, South Carolina not in much of a hurry to get things going. As a matter of fact, looks like they're going to wind up in the victory formation, and the second I say that, a timeout is going to be taken with 28 seconds to go. 24-16, South Carolina trying to put the finishing touches on a victory in the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas, presented by Bilo. The 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas is brought to you by the North Carolina Dental Society and the United States Marine Corps. Seconds to go in this one. Just under 34 seconds to go, and South Carolina has the football with an 8-point lead, and they may just be ready to run the one play that they practiced this week that you always love to run, and that's the old kneel down to wrap this one up. They've got the football actually inside the 10-yard line. It's spotted at the 5. But again, it looks like they're ready to take that victory formation and wrap up what would be the 39th win in this series for South Carolina to 27 for North Carolina. There have been 4 ties. Well, we've seen some strange things before, but I think that this one's pretty safe. And once again, another timeout being taken, this time by South Carolina. So I think this might be the longest wait we've had in, I think, a long time to see somebody kind of just take a knee and end a football game. There's a good look at Walt Canty, who I believe we can go ahead and tell you right there is our Army player of the game. He was tremendous, 63 yards and a touchdown, 55 yards in return yardage and 4 tackles, but he also had a 21-yard run in that first half. That was also very, very key for South Carolina.
And he'll probably drive the team home and wash the uniforms and put everything away, because he has done everything today on this football field.
Well, there's no question that Duke University is going to be very happy to have this young man playing for them next year. And again, what he did today is something that he has done his entire career for playing for Dorman High School in Spartanburg County. He's just a complete guy. He always will play on defense. An outstanding defender. As you can see, some of those players are ready to give Ted Luckadoo a bath, it would look like. Sam Montgomery, one of the culprits there.
It's an old water bucket play, isn't it?
Back on the field, Stephon Gilmore takes that knee, and the clock continues to run. They've actually put a little time back on the clock. They had it back to about 40 seconds as Ted Luckadoo gets the best bath you can have. Had a little rain here today, so he got a little bit wet before this one, but he's just going to watch the clock actually continue to run. Those final seconds ticking away. South Carolina will not have to snap the ball again, as there are more Gatorade showers being spread along that South Carolina sideline. There's Stephon Gilmore and Ted Luckadoo.
Alexander Green.
Final seconds ticking away, and South Carolina has won the 72nd annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas, 24-16. They scored 21 unanswered points in the second half to take this victory to win this contest for the second year in a row.
just a tremendous performance in the second half by the South Carolina team to come back and make the win.
24-16 is your final. Much more to come from Spartanburg in a moment. You're watching the 72nd Annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas, presented by Barlett.
If I can ball a line from the United Way.
South Carolina has defeated North Carolina 24-16 to win the 72nd Annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas, presented by Bilo. Let's head downstairs with Joni Lockridge with the victorious coach, Ted Luckadoo.
How does it feel other than cold after you've gotten a nice ice bath?
It's great. I'm just so happy for these kids and these coaches that have worked so hard this week. And, you know, our coaches have been working together since February after we were named as a staff. And, you know, you work and you meet and you drive and you meet and you come and you finally get to hear more. It just goes quickly and it's over with. But I'm just so happy for our kids that we were able to win a football game, especially for them to end up their high school careers on a winning note.
It's been a pleasure to talk with you. Congratulations, and I'll let you get back to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Joni. Well, it was really a tale of two halves, and South Carolina just really owned this second half as they came back and scored 21 unanswered points.
Yeah, it's usually the adjustments that teams make at halftime that turn tail to tail of the tape. South Carolina was able to make the adjustments defensively, and then on the offensive side of the ball, they got Canty and they got Gilmore loose, and that was the difference.
And they did a little bit of everything to win this game today. South Carolina by a final score of 24-16. They win the 72nd Annual Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas, presented by Bilo. For Joni Lockridge and G. Knight, this is Fred Cunningham saying so long from Spartanburg, South Carolina, where the final score, South Carolina wins it over North Carolina 24-16. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.